Hey guys, welcome to this video where I'm going to take you through this powerful map behind me. So I've talked a lot in my content over the last few years around these four powers, these four archetypes, the king, the warrior, the magician, and the lover. So I'm just going to break down how this fits together in my mind anyway. It's not an official map from the founders of this work, but it's yeah, an interpretation of these archetypes and how they fit together through my mind and through the work that I've been doing with men over the last few years. So yeah, I just thought it'd be useful to go through some of the key themes from this map, and like I say, how they kind of fit together like this, and also why it's so important to work on these four powers or these four archetypes as a modern man, modern dad, modern leader. So we're going to start at the top, the energy of the king. So the energy of the king rules the head, the conscious mind, and it's our ability to create order in our lives. It's our ability to strategize, logically solve problems, and it's an area that's heavily focused on our career and our expression in the world and our impact in the world, our purpose. So the king archetype governs the mind, well, the conscious side of the mind. We'll talk about the subconscious side of the mind when we get down to the magician in a little while. So the king is all about vision. It's all about planning, strategizing, and it's all about purpose and direction. So this is where the mindset work comes into play. So the king, like I say, is very much about creating order with the mind, with logic, with systems. So this is a big focus for a lot of men, a lot of dads. And historically, this has been one of the main focuses for men is work, is using this. um, and yeah, we're going to explore the other energies in a few moments about how the dominance on this has potentially created some imbalances in our systems over the years. Um, so the next energy I'm going to talk about is this energy over here, the warrior. Again, another energy that's yeah, quite recognized amongst most men, quite well um, worked on for a lot of men. And that is the energy of the warrior, which is all about the energy of action and discipline and taking things forward, doing the actions from the mind, from the strategy, and doing the actions to create the impact in the world. So if you imagine the king sets the vision, the warrior actually moves towards and takes that mission on to get it done. So it's the energy of action, it's the energy of movement. Um, so, and I see very much the warrior as being, because of this link to energy of action, it's linked to our health and our vitality. I sometimes use the word vitality there instead of health. So it's our energy to be able to do the things that we need to do in order to successfully achieve the vision of our life. So the warrior supports the king by making sure the actions get done, the stuff gets done. Um, and the warrior also is the energy of protection as well. So obviously, with a good level of health, a good level of strength, historically, men have been set up to provide protection of the family unit, protecting. boundaries to ensure that stuff gets done, etc., etc. So the king and the warrior energy. So the king is very much about the energy of providing um, abundance, providing direction, providing the words and the impetus to move projects forward, life forward. Um, and then the warrior is about, protecting that vision, protecting that mission, and making sure it gets done. So the warrior energy is also about, it's about action, but it's also about boundaries, and creating boundaries to ensure that the mission gets done. And you don't get pulled off track. And the way kind of health and vitality links into this is, like I say, because you need to have a certain level of energy to be able to do all the things that we want to do as men, as leaders, as dads, and especially as the role as dads, we need to have energy to get out there and do the work that we want to do to provide. We also have to have the energy to, be able to play with the kids, to be able to take them here, there, and everywhere if we need to, and the energy to maintain our own body, maintain our own system. Okay, we're going to move across now here to the lover. So the lover archetype is obviously linked to our relationships, but it's also linked to this energy of rest. So I like to look at these two energies as complementary opposites. So the warrior is the energy of movement and action, and the lover is the energy of rest and slowing down. So this is the energy of go, 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 and this is the energy of slow, slow, slow. So, and this energy is often one that a lot of men and a lot of dads struggle with. They also potentially struggle with this. And it's this energy and this energy that we're going to come to in a minute that are energies that as men, we haven't been taught about or even modeled to. Balanced, integrated lovers, balanced, integrated magicians. We've been kind of indoctrinated into these energies, the king and the warrior. As a man, you need to move, you need to take action, you need to provide, you need to work out things with your mind, solve problems, strategize, etc. But this part of us, the emotional side of our being, our ability to connect with others, our ability to be present with others, the ability to be present with ourselves, to slow our brains down, to slow our minds down, to be able to get out into nature, to sleep well, to cultivate an introspective practice by slowing the system down. So if you imagine this is the system that's like go, 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 like I say, this energy is all about slowing the system down, because when we slow the system down, we can connect much, much easier with others, especially our children, especially with our partners, but also people in our team, our friends, our family. This energy requires presence and patience and listening. So if you imagine these energies here about moving forward and maybe even talking, these energies here are about listening and slowing down. So from the lover, we come down here to our magician. So the magician and the king, again, I see these two as complementary opposites to each other. So the magician ensures that the king is looking at things from a broad perspective, because a king that's not integrated can get stuck in the head, stuck in the mind, stuck in the logical mind, the overthinking mind. The magician helps the king get out of his head and into the body, ultimately. So the magician more rules the subconscious mind, our patterns, our programs, our ability to create, our creativity, our ability to see things from different angles, from different positions. And this is where I very much see the magician energy being linked to things like things that we feed ourselves. So nutrition, I see very much as something beyond the food that we eat. It's all the inputs that we take into our system that creates our system. So the food and the things that we drink, the hydration is a big component of that, but it's also about what are we feeding our minds and our subconscious minds, and how is our subconscious affecting our mindset, and ultimately how is our systems set up to receive our finances, because finances is a big element, but it's also linked to our career. So if you think of our career as going out and doing stuff, our finances is the reaping the benefits of that action. And yeah, there's a lot of work around our subconscious to do with this and our ability to receive, which again can be a bit of a challenge for some men when we're used to giving. We're used to doing. But this energy of listening and slowing down can be a bit of a challenge. So these energies, these four energies here, can be categorized into two: the yin and the yang. So this is where I put this in the center. So we've got the lover and the magician that are more your yin qualities down here, or feminine qualities, which again, like some men don't like to use that word, but you know, as men, we have feminine energy and masculine energy. And then our king and our warrior are our masculine energies, or our yang energies. And ultimately, we as men have been taught that this masculine energy is good. This is what we should be as men. But the feminine energy is maybe not as advertised for us men. But us modern men, we're embracing this side of us because we're seeing how important it is to be able to slow down, to be able to connect to ourselves, connect to our loved ones. We're seeing how important it is to, you know, manage our finances, to make sure that, you know, our mindset is in a good place. Financial stress is obviously a big stressor for a lot of people in the world. So ensuring that we're looking after that, we're looking after the things that we're putting in our body, we're looking after our health. And yeah, I've got obviously the four elements there as well. These are just elements that we can use to help tap into these energies. So the element of air, connecting to the mindset through the breath, the nervous system, how you think is very much interlinked. So, you know, one of the big practices that I promote in terms of connecting to the king energy is breath work. So connecting to the power of the breath to have an effect on the mind and also the subconscious mind. The fire element connected to the warrior energy is all about action, heat, moving forward. And then opposite of water, we've got fire. Opposite of fire, we've got water. And the energy of water helps us to connect to this energy of flow and rhythm. And this is, again, the more kind of feminine qualities that help support us with our own natural rhythms, our circadian rhythms, our annual rhythms, etc., etc. And then finally, we've got the energy of the magician, which is the energy of the earth, which is the energy of embodiment, the energy of the body. So the body is earth, and the king is the mind, is the non-physical realms. So we've got the physical, we've got the non-physical, we've got the emotions, and we've got the energetic body. So we've got the mental, physical, emotional, energetic. And, if you think about all of these four combined, I say they're all spiritual because, the physical body is a very spiritual thing. The mental body is spiritual. The emotions, the energetic, it's all spiritual because it's all ultimately energy. And I'm not going to get too much into going too deep into that, but I just wanted to kind of show you this map. And the last thing I wanted to say was in terms of where they are as a map, if you think about a compass, the king is the north. The North Star is the king. The king sets the vision. He sets the direction. Okay, so the king is to the north. You've got the warrior on your right hand side. So if you look forward, north is your king. The right hand side, because that's also linked to the right side of the body, which is connected to the left side of the brain. That is your warrior side, right side. And then your left side, which is, if you think about it, your heart and a few other important organs of letting go, your large intestine, come down the left side of the body. And then you've got the magician, which is south, which is behind you. Or you could even say the south is below you, so your lower body. So you could say the king is north, but also maybe upper body, and the magician is behind you, and maybe the lower body as well. And yeah, how this fits as a map is if you think of king forward, warrior right, lover left, magician behind, you have integrated all those four energies, all those four directions. You're going to have a nice strong center. And that's ultimately what we want as leaders. We want to be leading from our center, not from our heads, not from a disconnect from our bodies, not from a disconnect from how we feel, because this is where we can get into the realms of polarized archetypes, which I'll talk about in another video. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you today. I've talked about this map to a few people this week. I thought I'd share it with you today. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on this map. And yeah, if you've got any questions, drop me a message. And yeah, I'll be back soon to talk a little bit more about these four powers. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks, guys.